Hello, everybody. This is WODU, the best in college radio. This is hosting KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbott, and we got to my left, my co-host, Rashad Pinnell. To my right, on the far right, Khalid Lewis, and we have a guest today, Rudy Henderson. If you all watched earlier in the semester, Rudy was nice enough to come through earlier in the semester and bless us with some sports knowledge of his own. So we welcome Rudy again. Thanks for coming in today, Rudy.
Anytime. I appreciate the invite.
Um, Today we have a whole good amount of topics to talk about. We got starting off. We're gonna start with Greg Hardy and his outburst on the sidelines, and then his little media snafu after the game, after the loss to the Giants, and then talking about the Panthers and if the Panthers are really the real deal. 6-0 is looking good, pretty good on them. And then we're gonna talk about the Patriots beating the Jets because the Jets were like the one team everybody thought was gonna beat the Patriots. Coming into this past Sunday, and then we'll go into the Indianapolis Colts. The struggle, the struggle bus is real, and then finally we'll finish off with NBA predictions, and we'll be remembering Flip Saunders. But going into the NFL with Greg Hardy, he had a what's it called? He had a sideline outburst in the loss to the Giants, in which the Cowboys, the big divisional game for the Cowboys, they had a lead, you know, before the play, the special teams play that because Matt Castle had just led them down the field and scored. So the Cowboys, they just got the momentum on their side. So then they respond by on special teams allowing the Giants kick returner to return it all the way back to the house. And it's like the pretty much they just rallied together and got the ball. They just pretty much put points on the board and got momentum in their favor. So then you allow that special teams play. So then Greg Hardy interrupts the special teams huddle and is coming after the special teams coach. And while he's doing that, he knocks the coach's clipboard out of his hand, and him and the coach get in each other's face. And then ultimately the coach has to push him back in order for him to for them to get separation between each other. So after that takes place, then Des Bryant goes pursues Greg Hardy and trying to talk to him, but then Greg Hardy is not having really any of it. So then after the game, in the media post session, they were trying to ask him questions about the game, the whole altercation, and repeatedly he just answered with no comment, no comment, next question, no comment, next question. So and then in comments from Jerry Jones about what Greg Hardy said, or what he did and what he said he's of course one of the real leaders on this team, and he earns it. He earns it with respect from all of his teammates, and that's the kind of thing that inspires the football teams. And that's via Steve Politi of the NJ.com. So Jerry Jones is still supporting Greg Hardy with utmost support. So what do y'all think about this development with Greg Hardy? Because this isn't like a new thing with Greg Hardy. He's done this. He did this. He had issues back in Carolina with the same issues. So starting with Rudy, since he's our guest on today, what do you think about Greg Hardy's outburst, and then how Jerry Jones came to the defense of Greg Hardy for his outburst?
Well, starting off, I think what Jerry Jones did was the admirable thing to do. You're an owner, coming to defend your player and his actions. As far as Greg Hardy's conduct, I have no problem with him being hyped up on the sideline. My problem comes when he actually knocked the clipboard out of the coach's hand. But in the same vein, this is what you paid for. You knew that you were going to get a guy that might not be all the way stable. You knew you were getting a guy who could produce a lot of things on the field, but sometimes be a little bit rowdy on the sideline or even off the field. I look at him in the same category as looking at Alden Smith. Yes, you're paying for a great player, but don't be surprised if something pops up extra. This is what you paid for. So I don't have a problem with his energy. I just have a problem with him smacking the clipboard out of the hand. And what Jerry Jones said, I find absolutely nothing wrong with. As a player, you would love to have the support of not only your coaching staff, but your owner as well. So that's just my viewpoint on the situation.
All right, Rashad, what do you think about it?
I mean, you just get frustrated. Like players get frustrated on the side. Like they said earlier, it's like it's a big deal because he got caught on camera. But this happens all the time in the league. So you know what I'm saying? It's more so because it's Greg Hardy and what he's been through, like his situations with his past teams, that it makes it such a big deal. But I don't see nothing wrong with it, especially like with him and Des Bryant getting into it. Also, like that's just two fired up players on the same team, getting at each other. So I mean, to make it seem like, oh, that's gonna mess up chemistry or it's gonna be something bad for the team. I don't think it's gonna be nothing bad. He's frustrated that what's the name that he just had a Dwayne Harris just had a punt return or a kick return.
Yeah.
Which, I don't remember.
It was a kick return.
Yeah, it was a kick return. And that he's mad that happened, and then that that gives them complete momentum of the game.
Yeah.
And now we're fighting to rebuild momentum. You know what I'm saying? And especially since it's a division game.
Yeah.
And we already dropping games. And when teams dropping games, it's frustrating to most players. And someone like Greg Hardy, who wants to win, who's already a fired up person. Because I'm sure if Des Bryant was playing, it'd been the same thing. If that happened and we're fighting for momentum now, I mean, Des Bryant's playing and he's trying to play his heart out to get this win, he's gonna get fired up the same way too. Maybe not the clipboard out of his hand, but he's gonna get fired up the same way, and then somebody else is gonna get in his face, and then we'll be talking about Des Bryant instead of Greg Hardy.
And Des did get fired up too.
You know what I'm saying?
Carla, let me hear your point. Your thoughts on this.
I think Greg Hardy, he does what all players do. They get upset, rowdy when people get kicked, when the opposing team get kick returns like that, and can take it back to the house. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of players on the sidelines were upset at the special teams. He was just the one that took it a step further and had to get all physical with the special teams coach. And as for Jerry Jones, like Rudy and Rashad was saying, it was definitely like the right move for him. He don't want to say. I don't want to say he don't want to say anything bad, but it's just as a leader, it's the right move you're supposed to make. You're supposed to show an example to always support your players and always be, in the positive, like show a positive light for your players, even though they may outburst or get physical with your coaches.
Okay, so I have a question for y'all then, since y'all had no issue with it. So if this was let me see. If this wasn't your sack leader on the team, because I mean, Greg Hardy, obviously everybody knows he's one of the best pass rushers in the game. I mean, there's a stat I saw on ESPN that said when he's off the field, the Cowboys' likelihood of getting a sack drops to 5%. Whereas when he's on the field, they have a 12% higher chance of getting a sack, that's a big change. That's a big difference. So, and already in 2 games, he's recorded 3 sacks, 2 against the Patriots, and then one this past Sunday against the Giants. So he is a game changer in his own right. But if let's say this is maybe, I don't know, Ray Rice maybe, and he's getting signed off waivers, but he's not as big a game changer as Greg Hardy is. Is the Cowboys putting up with it as much, or is it as excusable?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing because he's still a player on the team. I mean, anybody can get fired up. It don't matter who you are on the team. It could be the backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He could be getting fired up. Like, oh, come on, we gotta tighten up. I mean, what they're gonna be like? You're a backup. Your opinion don't matter. So I feel like it doesn't matter who it is. Like they're gonna say they're gonna treat it the same way. They're not gonna like disregard it or anything. But they're gonna be like, we're not gonna. I guess you could say nobody would be disciplined harder for it. Nobody. I feel like the media would still be on it, especially for like a Cowboy setting for a media type team.
Well, I think especially because it's Greg Hardy is worse.
But that's the thing. It's because it's his background and stuff. That'd be the same thing for like Ray Rice. But I mean, for like you said, if they pick him up off the waivers, who's not as productive like a Greg Hardy's doing now, I feel like it'd be the same basically.
Okay, and then how does it look? Because Des Bryant went to go and talk to Greg Hardy. So obviously Des Bryant, I think Des Bryant more so had an issue with the clipboard, him confronting the coach rather than his outburst. I think Des Bryant had a problem with the clipboard thing. But I mean, you saw how he even reacted towards Des Bryant.
Yeah.
So what does that say to you with how Des Bryant reacted towards Greg Hardy with what Greg Hardy did?
It's nothing to me
Des
because
Bryant was one of the leaders on the team before.
You're right, but you got to think about when Des Bryant used to do the same thing when he first came into the Cowboys. He used to do the same exact thing. So like, and he was doing this for like Tony Romo and Jason Witten and stuff like that. Who y'all look at as the franchise of the team before Des Bryant was Des Bryant. His first 2 seasons wasn't like he is now. So when he did that to like Tony Romo and Jason Witten, people would be like, who does he think he is? Like messing with like top name players of the team. It's the same thing with him getting like Des Bryant's face now. Like you just you just look at it how Des Bryant had it, and you just like it's gonna happen because Greg Hardy. And it's gonna happen because you have Des Bryant, and Des Bryant ain't gonna put up with it, and Greg Hardy ain't gonna put up with it. So you have two people bumping heads. That's why like sources would be like they should keep them away from each other throughout the game when the games are close.
Okay, so then what do y'all think about his post game when he just kept saying no comment? Next question. And he wouldn't even address questions of what happened on the field. He wouldn't. It's not like it was just he didn't even let them get the questions out. Like they were like, "Do you?" Next question. No or no comment. Next question.
There so you don't get fined.
Yeah.
If
You know why I'm here.
I prefer no comment next question over him saying something that could potentially jeopardize his bank account in that team.
All right, but you don't think he could have just said, "Hey, y'all, I'm, this isn't the best of days. I'm not really feeling it."
I mean,
and
you gotta think about it. He was upset. I mean, he was mad enough to slap the clipboard out of the coach's hand and get all in his face.
But
you
you
said some savage stuff.
You don't get fined. You can as long as you address the media in a sense, you won't get fined.
He addressed him.
Mm-hmm.
No, but
that's addressing him. Like if you did that,
but he could get fined for the no
Marshall-
comment, no media, no thing.
Right.
But if he at least explains to them the reason why he's not more so willing to give answers and at least addresses them in some capacity, I don't think he'd be. I think that'd be better than just coming out saying no comment. Next question.
So basically, you do like the Westbrook thing when he told them they was tripping and walk off. So basically that.
That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just
he'd be like, hey, I don't.
You just translated what I said and took it.
He'd be like, hey, I don't want to talk. I'm out. That's a fine.
But you do it politely with respect to the media.
Greg Hardy.
But here's the thing, though.
You expect a team that lost a division game, who dropped 4 straight games,
to
be like, hey,
I'm just saying,
hey, it's okay, guys. We'll talk later.
We're on the outside looking in on this. I've personally been very frustrated. You can't communicate all that in that instant. You can't just be going from mad to snap. Hey guys, I don't feel too good today, so I'm just not gonna know. You're gonna say no comment because you know if you say something other than no comment, it's gonna be something stupid.
But you already know that the public has an eye on you. The media is keeping their eye on you for things to you to say wrong, especially after his first press conference after office suspension. And you already know they're waiting for you. Like he has to have a PR. Apparently, Tony Romo came and talked to him at his locker and told him, "Bro, just don't say anything wrong. Just don't say anything bad that's gonna make anything worse."
Exactly.
And then
no comment is nothing bad that's gonna make anything worse. He followed instructions.
No, but here's the thing. No, but here's the thing.
He took it literal.
He took it to a whole nother level.
Okay, but, hey, look, like I said, I would rather have every player on my team say no comment than have a player on my team say, "Oh, well, it was the special team's fault. It was the coach's fault. He didn't have them lined up."
Yeah, definitely.
Then you know what the story is on Monday? Greg Hardy and Cowboys did not trust special teams coordinator. Turmoil in locker room instead of, "Oh, well, he didn't address the media." So at the end of the day, I prefer no comment next question over whatever it was he was really feeling. In
but I'm saying,
Greg
could just imagine.
Yeah, I know.
But
I'm saying, you got PR people that are telling you how, like, you know how the public perception of you is. So I know it's Greg Hardy. Blah, blah, blah. But that's bad that we're saying it's Greg Hardy.
But here's the thing, though.
We're expecting that to be a pass for him to just be able to say no comment.
We're not saying it's a pass. We're saying we know what he's gonna say if he do say it.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's being smart. We look at it. We're not giving him a pass. We look at him as being smart.
No, but I'm saying, so he couldn't have said, "Hey, I don't feel like talking to y'all."
How you know he was gonna say that though?
Not in that
Especially
moment.
when he
You
was
don't know
mad
he's gonna
and
say that.
emotional like that.
No, I'm saying, but they coach you on what to say in these post game press conferences.
Okay,
I mean, some players just don't listen.
Yeah,
that's
Will he
true.
listen, though?
I mean, some players don't listen.
Exactly.
But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. That's on Greg Hardy though. I'm saying if the team advises you in a way, would Des Bryant has said that to them?
Probably in the
I
moment.
never seen it before.
You know what I'm saying?
I seen the Cowboys lose close games and Des Bryant was blowing up on the sideline, but Des Bryant never said no comment. Next question.
But Des
Over
Bryant
20
and Greg
times.
Hardy are two totally different individuals, and Des Bryant has learned from his mistakes and grown. Greg Hardy is still going through it.
Look back to Des Bryant's rookie season. In his sophomore season.
The one that's getting arrested for sagging his pants in the mall.
But here's the thing: Des Bryant was never accused of domestic violence or nothing like that.
But
he was accused of hitting his mom.
But I'm saying, but he wasn't charged. Greg Hardy was charged and he was found guilty in some kind of court. I don't remember.
Actually, that case was dropped because someone got paid off. But hey,
yeah, exactly. But he was initially found guilty, and then
hey, at the end of the day, the charge went away. That's all I'm saying.
It did go away.
That's
but
all
I'm just saying.
saying.
But I'm saying.
You can't call him guilty.
But I'm saying, Des Bryant. At the end of the day, Des Bryant's never been in a position where only 2 teams were willing to sign you in the season, right?
Well,
Des Bryant's always had.
Des Bryant's on a rookie contract.
No, but I'm saying, remember when Des Bryant had that big contract thing going on this past season, and then y'all franchise tagged him.
That was because that wasn't for his acting.
No, I'm not saying because acting, but I'm saying everybody kept saying, hey, if Des Bryant becomes a free agent, let's tell us suitors for Des Bryant. Everybody was gonna come lined up. But I'm saying, how many people called for Greg Hardy? 2.
But no, it was 2 people. Greg Hardy didn't play the whole season. Didn't he even play that season before?
They didn't know. Here's the thing, though. That's also not fair. They didn't know he was going to play this season.
No, but
why would you sign a player that you might not be able to play?
No, Roger Goodell had already what's it called? He already given his suspension, and the appeal came before Tom Brady's appeal even came.
He was already signed at that point. At the point of people that were trying to contact him, they didn't know what the official punishment would be. Because teams were trying to sit back and wait.
That was before he scored.
Then teams started getting interested,
but they knew he was going to play, and you already saw the league already given their mandate of discipline for domestic violence. So you already knew how
was a more extreme case where they were talking about possibly 12 games. I'm not signing you for millions of dollars.
They
played 4 games.
They only gave him 8 games.
They gave him 8, but the discussion was about possibly giving him 12. I'm not signing you for millions of dollars for 4 games where you could possibly get hurt in game 1 and you not play for an entire season. So you're telling me I'm paying you millions of dollars to sit on my sideline.
The Cowboys even got, but here's the thing: the Cowboys got him at a cheap price. Not like they went out and gave him a max kind of contract. They got Greg Hardy at a cheap price.
It was still a cheap price, but at the end of the day, had he gotten hurt and wouldn't been able to participate, you're still looking at the Cowboys like, oh, not only did you just sign a woman beater, but you're paying him a couple $1 million to sit there.
Nobody would have said that because out of sight, out of mind, you get forgotten. Nobody's talking about the Cowboys signing Randy Gregory right now because Randy Gregory's out of sight, is out of mind.
I mean, but Randy Gregory wasn't a bad signing. He just has some anxiety issues.
No, he had issues going on, but not as bad as Greg Hardy. But he had issues. That's why people avoided him.
Here's why I respect Randy Gregory. Though he came out in the draft and said, "If I go to a team, I want somebody to watch me because he doesn't trust the decisions that he can make." I'm sorry, but I respect that as somebody coming from upper coming in.
I understand, but Randy Gregory and Greg Hardy are 2 different people. I'm saying Greg Hardy, with his case, has never even shown remorse for what he's done, never even apologized for what he supposedly been accused of, never has even addressed it since coming back on.
He has no reason to address it.
I mean, all right, has Jameis apologized for what he was accused for?
But Jameis was never charged. Jameis was never charged. What I'm
saying is you've been dragged through court 4 or 5 times. Has he ever once apologized for what he was accused of, or even the perception of what he's been accused of? Greg Hardy's charge was dropped. The girl dropped it. All I'm saying, at the end of the day, you can say I'm guilty and then say, you know what? Forget it. That absolves me of anything other than perception.
He was found guilty. Jameis Winston was never found guilty. There was never substantial evidence to find Jameis Winston guilty. Greg Hardy was found guilty, and the girl let him off the hook. Jameis Winston's got investigated for 2+ years, and then they couldn't find evidence. The Florida police could not find, Florida State and Florida police could not find evidence to charge Jameis Winston with sexual assault. So his case,
you find evidence really. What
do you mean you can't find evidence? They had sperm on the they had like sperm stuff on her drawers and everything, but then they found out she was a little promiscuous. She was a little promiscuous, but they were like, hey, we can't just go off with all this and then indict Jameis Winston. But in Greg Hardy's case, they said they could.
Okay,
you guys do thorough investigation.
Answer me these 2 questions. These 2 questions because I feel like we're coming down a little harsh on Greg Hardy. You might look at me weird. You might look at me weird. No. You might look at me weird for this. But please, just answer me these 2 questions and let me get them both out before you answer.
Go ahead.
We're not as critical as Ben Roethlisberger for not apologizing for being accused of rape 3 times and his officer on the case just went away. And then why is it that when this guy is saying no comment to avoid saying something stupid, we jump all over his back, but we praise guys like Bill Belichick and Greg Popovich for being an all-out butthole to the media? Just answer those 2 questions.
As far as Ben Roethlisberger goes, Ben Roethlisberger did apologize, and he did address that issue
all 3 times.
He addressed it. He at least addressed it like one of the issues. The most recent one, he addressed it.
That's
the one that came after the one that came. I don't remember the other 2. I know the most recent one. Ben Roethlisberger addressed. I can't go back that far in years to say I wasn't trying to covering the NFL, watching the media post game and stuff like that. But Ben Roethlisberger, the most recent one I saw, he's addressed it. Greg Hardy's never even talked about it to anybody in the media. Bill Belichick and them, they still answer questions to a capacity. They don't just fall give no comment. Next question. Either it's we're going on to San Francisco, something. They at least answer the question to some capacity.
That's not how Pop and Bill Belichick answer every question. I'm saying
they don't answer. No, I'm not saying. Saying be a. But he was being the way he was saying no comment. Next question. Bill Belichick and Greg Popovich at least let you get the question out. He didn't even let these reporters finish their questions. Like, if y'all saw the way he did it,
I saw
Bill
it.
Belichick lets them finish. Greg Popovich lets them finish. He at least gives respect to the reporter and then might give them, he's not going to say no comment as question. He at least gives some answer. Greg Popovich especially gives some answer that's just kind of like, you're like, what?
Really,
But yeah, you're like, what? But he at least addressed you. And I mean, it's at times it's like comedic to an extent. But Greg Hardy's never been that comedic guy to that extent to have that fallback on. That's what I'm saying. These guys have a reputation of doing that. That's not Greg Hardy's reputation. Just a few weeks ago when they were trying to ask him stuff about the domestic violence charge, he was being all joking around and stuff. So if you have a joking persona in one interview and the next interview, when you have an outburst, you don't want to address nothing. I'm saying don't play it both ways. Won't play it, try and play both sides of the fence. And
so
then
basically what you're saying is he needs to walk around and say no comment, next question all the time, or be jokey all the time.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying,
but you're gonna play both sides.
No, but I'm
it's
saying
an emotional sport. I'm not gonna feel the same way today as I feel tomorrow.
No, I'm not saying that he should have given up. Y'all misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're gonna not talk to the media, just do it in a way that you're not just disrespectful. At least Marshawn Lynch, at least let people ask him questions. This man did not let the media even get their questions out. And that's their job. They're paid to do that. So you're not letting these guys get their jobs out. I mean, do their job when they're trying to ask you a question. If you don't feel like talking, to say, hey, no comment, next question, please, blah, blah, blah. And at least address some of the questions. If you don't want to talk about the outburst, that's fine. But if they're going to ask you about how you feel like the defense played or something, I mean, you're going to answer some questions in some capacity. If you don't want to talk about the outburst, that's cool. But he didn't answer any questions, didn't let any questions get asked. That's the only issue I have with his and the clipboard thing. But that's the only issue I had with the whole incident, because I mean, you're a guy that's trying to come back, trying to, gain the public perception on your side. Nobody wants to be looked at in a villainous way by the public all the time. You want to gain the public on your side to some extent. But going on to staying in the NFL, we're going to go on to the Carolina Panthers, who are 6-0 right now and leading the NFC, NFC South. And the question being thrown around is, are the Panthers the real deal? Should people take them seriously? Is Cam Newton worthy of these MVP conversations? It's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But I mean, at the end of the day, they've gone into people's stadiums. People have come into their stadiums, and they come out with no losses. So, Kyle, let them start with you. How valid do you think it is that, how valid do you think the Carolina Panthers 6-0 record is?
I mean, they won, and so it's pretty valid. They look as a team. Well, Cam Newton himself, he's just kind of shaky. I wouldn't put him in the MVP conversation already, because he's not the best quarterback, and he's not at that elite level yet. So you can't really put him in that MVP conversation. But their team altogether, their offense is doing it great. Their defense is actually stepping up, even though they have a weak run defense. They just I understand the 6-0. I see that they playing at a higher level, and they definitely deserve it, because I mean they did beat the Seahawks with Cam Chancellor on it, and who else? And they beat the Eagles this past weekend. So they are definitely playing as a high they're playing as elite, not elite team, but a very great team. So I mean, they deserve the 6-0. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll come back to what you just said. Rudy, what do you think about the Panthers?
The Panthers, led by my man Super Cam, are not the real deal. They are, I want to say, a team that's lucky with the circumstances that they're in. They don't have a very strong schedule. They have a quarterback. To address that, no, not at all. He's not the MVP. I don't think he should be in MVP talks. Tom Brady is the only person that needs to be considered the MVP of this league right now. But the man Cam Newton, if there was an award for having the most heart or just winning, then maybe we could give that to him, because he's the only quarterback I know since Vince Young that can go into a game, throw 3 picks, maybe run a touchdown at the end of the game and still win. That defense is responsible for about 85% of their wins. The offense is doing not much to really help. They played an Eagles team that's been up and down with horrible quarterback play, a Seahawks team who doesn't really know who they are, and a bevy of a whole bunch of other scrubs. Then you look at the rest of their schedule, they still have to play the woeful AFC South. They get to play the Jaguars, Titans, and Colts. So that's possibly 3 more wins. So you're looking at 9 in whatever they're going to finish the season at. They get to play the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons once or twice. They're going to beat the Buccaneers. Jameis Winston can't do it by himself. They have no defense out there. The Saints have no defense to stop Cam Newton, so they're going to beat them. The Falcons give them their best shot, and I lost faith in the Falcons the previous 2 weeks. So I think that they're very lucky with who they get to play against, and once they play a real team, they will be exposed. Not saying I'm not rooting for Cam. I like Cam. I like Kuechly. I like the team. They're just not as real as people think they are.
All right, Rashad, let me hear what you think about them.
How can both of y'all say that they're not that real when Cam is doing this right here? That's what I'm gonna say why he should be. He's running for MVP right now, top runner for MVP. He's doing it with a team with no receivers. His star receivers hurt. He got a tight end who's making all this play. A tight end now. Tight end can't get open on every single play now.
Sounds like Tom Brady.
No, Tom Brady. You telling me Julian Edelman and Damian Amendola can't do anything? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying. You said a
Gronk
tight
makes
end.
plays.
You said
Gronk makes plays, but Julian Edelman makes plays too.
You said that a tight end makes all their plays. Gronk
does
makes
not make all their
70% of their plays.
No.
Gronk makes
no.
some. What running game do the Patriots have? Wait, hold on. What running game do the Patriots have? Last time I checked, the Panthers have a great running game. Last time I checked, the Panthers have a great defense. Last time I checked, Cam Newton's throwing 3 interceptions and having to run the ball by himself. So, yeah, he's a good player.
You take
he's a
that
good
away
player.
from, you take that his ability to run away from him?
And he's going to be a scrub.
Linebacker that can go
He's going to be a scrub.
He's going to be a scrub?
If you take the ability for him to run the ball, he's going to be a pedestrian quarterback. If you take the ability to run away from Cam Newton, he's Josh Freeman.
No.
If you take the ability to run away from Cam Newton, he's Josh Freeman.
I got a question. So what's Russell Wilson?
I don't know what to call Russell Wilson because he's not a Drew Brees. He scrambles around, waits for his wide receivers to run a broken route.
Hey, if you take the ability to run away from Russell Wilson,
if you take the ability to run away from Russell Wilson, he's not very good either.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask that question.
I'm not going to say one without the other. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick. They took the ability to run away from him. Look what he's doing.
But that's Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick isn't Cam Newton.
I think you're putting way too much stock in Cam Newton's throwing ability here. Let us not forget, regardless of
what play beat the Seahawks?
What
play beat the Seahawks? A pass play at the middle? Passing, not running?
I mean, every dog has its day. Everybody gets lucky once in a while. It happens.
6-0 isn't lucky.
Yeah, against scrub teams.
Let me give you.
Can you say
win in the NFL?
Hold on, let me.
Any team can win in the NFL. But are you not acknowledging that some teams are better than others in the NFL?
Hold on, real quick. For those watching, let me give y'all Cam Newton's stats. So on the season, he has 1,275 passing yards. He has 9 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. He's thrown 7 interceptions. He has a completion percentage of 55.8%, and he has a passer rating of 78.4. Your passer rating is out of 100. So in the games they have played, like Rudy listed, they played the Jaguars for the first game of the season. They played the Texans.
Horrible.
They played the Saints.
Not that good. They're not.
No, at this point in time, they're not that good. But starting the season,
they could be good. But what I'm saying is not that good. That's 3 of the 6 wins.
But these are divisional games.
Time out. Divisional games are different. Okay, that's still. But your divisional games, you can still play a scrub team. Look at the AFC.
No, but I'm saying you can still play scrub teams. But divisional games, you never know which way they're gonna go. Divisional games, for whatever reason, they're just different than a regular game. But
But speaking on difficulty of schedule, the Saints are not a difficult team.
They played the Bucks.
Horrible.
They played the Seahawks.
Okay, that's one quality win.
They played the Eagles,
and the Eagles have not been that good. So that's 5 out of 6. That is 5 out of 6. I want you to look at every team they played, every single team they played aside from the Seahawks, and it might be what the Seahawks has a losing record.
But the Eagles right now, Eagles got it going now. They got DeMarco Murray going and everything.
So the Eagles got it going off of 1 win and then a loss the following week.
I'm saying they have all their pieces going now. You cannot say they are a bad team.
You want to tell me what the record is of all those teams you listed? Because every single team you listed has a losing record, maybe except for the Seahawks, and I'm pretty sure they're 3-4.
The Seahawks, they are.
So you're telling me that you think a team is legit because every single team that they have played has a losing record and is horrible at something, and they just happen to eke out horrible victories against them. I'm sorry. They're not real. They'll go to the playoffs. They'll probably win their division. But when they play a real team, they will not win. The Seahawks
is a real deal team.
No, they are not. They are not the same Seahawks for the last 2 years. They don't know what they're doing out there.
3-4.
So every single team, every single team that they have played has a losing record. What else can I say about that? It's not like they're beating world beaters here. They haven't beat the Bengals, the Patriots, the Hawks, the Falcons, and all those other teams. They're beating the Jaguars, the Texans who were just losing 41-0 at halftime, not in the game, at halftime. Oh my God. They lose like that every game.
No,
they lose like that every single game they
No.
play in. They have a quarterback controversy between Ryan Mallett and Brian Hoyer, two guys who couldn't be 12th round draft picks. They are a horrible team. They have not played quality teams. When they play a good team and win, I will come on this show. I will come back on this show and say to anyone watching and you three that they are the real deal. But until they play a quality team, I will not give them that allowance.
But so the Seattle Seahawks aren't quality.
No, they are not the same. They are not the exact same Seahawks.
But they're still the Seahawks.
That you're used to see.
They're still the Seahawks.
That's like me saying
they started off 0-2.
That's like me saying that the Rams are the same Rams because they used to be the greatest show on turf. That's like me saying their offense is just as good because they were the greatest show on turf. That defense is not the same defense.
Can you name 3 people who left?
Who
from the Seahawks?
First of all, they lost pieces on that offensive line in that
They
horrible
lost
trade.
tackle.
In that horrible
They
trade.
lost their tackle. One tackle.
They lost a great tackle.
They lost
a great tackle and a horrible
center.
trade for Jimmy Graham, who they don't even use, or their center, and a horrible trade for a tight end that they don't use.
He's actually
didn't
for the past 2 games has been going off.
Okay, but
past 2 games.
The past
they played.
How many games have been played in this season so far? 7.
But it's about the
2 games out of 7.
2 games ago they played.
2 games ago they played and they lost.
I said the past 2 games, Jimmy Graham's been going off.
Okay, but they
Jimmy
still
been part of the
lost
offense.
the game, correct? 2 games ago they played the Panthers,
which supports my case.
And they still lost the game,
that the
correct?
Panthers are a real deal team.
That doesn't really support your case because they're not beating teams that they're supposed to be beating. They beat the 49ers. Whoop-de-doo. They're horrible. You want to tell me who the Seahawks are?
You still haven't told me the people they lost because they haven't really lost pieces.
You cannot lose pieces and still not be the same team. Don't get that mistaken. The Texans went to the playoffs and had the exact same team the next year and won 4 games. You cannot lose pieces and still. Let me add on to that. The Texans didn't lose any pieces. Added Vince Wilfork, a healthy Jadeveon Clowney, and more pieces to that team, and are worse. You can be a worse team with the same players. The Seahawks are not the same Seahawks from 2 years ago. They probably will not win that division. If the 2 teams that coming out of that division right now to go to the playoffs are most likely the Cardinals and the Rams.
If we're going back to the Texans now, if we're going to talk about when they made the playoffs, you got to talk about how good Matt Schaub was playing that year. You got to talk about how good he was playing. You mean the year that
Matt Schaub? So because
he dropped off.
He's helping me out here. So they had the exact same team, but players dropped off. So the Seahawks have the exact same team.
Russell Wilson's playing the same way he played.
But is his offensive line saying the same way they played?
They lost one piece on the offensive line.
Has he not been under more pressure and been sacked more this year?
But he still has to.
Tell me. We have 2 other people on this panel.
We have 2 other people
on this panel. Has he not been under more duress and been sacked more this year?
He did lose his center.
Has he not looked worse because his offensive line play hasn't been that good?
Yeah.
Did they not just lose a game to the Rams because he was getting swarmed by that monster defensive line? Where last year he was under as much duress because they had a center who's a Pro Bowl center who can point out where everyone's going, what everyone's doing. His play has declined, thus their play has declined. That secondary's play is not the same as it has been. Their play has declined. They have miscommunication in the secondary that's supposed to be the best secondary in the league who's not playing like it whatsoever. They're on a decline. However, when you look at it, they didn't lose any pieces, but they're on a decline. So you know what? I'll give you, they beat a decent to maybe possibly good Seahawks team that will most likely not make the playoffs due to bad coaching, bad moves, players not communicating the right way. So I will give you 1 to 2 wins of their 6 that may be quality, but you cannot tell me that wins against the Jaguars, Buccaneers, Saints, and Eagles, who have been absolutely horrid until 1 week ago, are quality wins. You cannot argue that with me because when you have Sam Bradford at quarterback, you don't have a good chance of winning anything.
All right, let me ask a question to what. So actually, to both of you, because Khalid, what do you consider that dictates a team being elite? Because you said they're not an elite team, but they haven't lost a game. And from the statistics, they on defense, their defense ranks 6th in passing yards defense. In run defense, the defense ranks 12th. In total yards, the defense ranks 7th. And in total points, their defense ranks 5th. So I mean, yeah, their defense is legit. So I mean, and you said they're not an elite team, but yet they rank amongst the best of the best teams on defense. And offense, I mean, they're fifth in rushing yards.
Rushing yards.
And now, well, in total points, they're ninth. So they're top 10 in total
yeah,
points.
but rushing
They're
yards.
putting points up.
Yeah, they're
They
putting
doing it
points
with
up.
no receivers.
They're putting points up.
But
But
with a fifth ranked rushing game,
but
that factors into this.
But okay, so I'll give you teams that are ahead of them in rushing. In Arizona's fourth,
And they're a great team.
Pittsburgh's third, Atlanta's second, Seattle's first. Now on the total points category, the only team from that what I just said is Arizona and Atlanta. Pittsburgh isn't ranked in total points, so rushing has some of it to do with it. But apparently, only two out of the three teams I listed that are ahead of them weren't, or two of the other two teams aren't in the top 10 in total points.
Pittsburgh's also on a third string quarterback.
Can I say something?
They are.
Yeah,
Can I
they
say
are.
something? Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Speaking about last
Oh,
year.
wait, hold on.
And it's gonna be quick. Speaking of last year, when you said DeMarco Murray was the leading rusher, that's why Tony Romo was in the MVP talks.
Yes.
So you can't take that away from Cam Newton with Johnny Stewart.
Okay, wait.
I'm not taking it away from him. I'm saying he has support. You're saying he has nothing out there. I'm saying he has a very strong run game.
Hold
I'm
on.
not taking it away from him.
I want to get to Khalid because I asked him about the elite team. So what do you feel like dictates an elite team?
Because Rudy made a good point. He was like that the 6 teams that they've played have all losing records. I feel like they definitely need to be playing teams who have been winning the majority of their games as well to truly be classified as elite.
So
it's not their fault the other teams lost.
You can't be the best unless you beat the best, and they have beat the worst. I can't call them good for beating the worst.
But I mean, you can't say so. The
Okay.
Jaguars was
You wanna do me a
6-1.
favor?
The Jaguars 5-1 right now.
You want to do me a huge favor?
What?
Can you pull up the Titans' defensive ranks? Because stats can be deceiving, folks.
the Titans,
true.
Titans defense is ranked
Last time we checked,
in total yardage. The Titans defense is ranked third.
the Tennessee Titans, the 1-5 Tennessee Titans total defense is number 3 in the league. Because stats can be deceiving.
In passing defense, y'all are second.
Second in passing defense in the entire league, but they are 1-5. And this is the Titans playing teams that are better than them. The Panthers are playing teams that are clearly worse than them, that are not even that good in the league and are putting up good. I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming them for having a bad schedule. I am saying we cannot crown them kings because they play peasants.
All right,
You have to play other good people. You have to beat the best to be the best. The Patriots have consistently beat teams that are good. The Bengals have consistently beat teams that are good. Teams are beating teams that are just as good as them, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit overrated, but the Panthers are consistently playing garbage teams.
All right, I was just about to get to the Bengals. So if the Panthers aren't valid, well, here's who the Bengals have played. The Bengals have played the Raiders. They played the Chargers.
Surprisingly good.
They played the Ravens. They played the Chiefs. They
Good.
played the Seahawks.
Chiefs are not good.
And they
Chiefs
played
are a good team.
they played the Bills. Well, the Chiefs without
Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles is
He got
not a
hurt
good
during
team.
The game, did he not?
Yeah, but then without Jamal Charles is not a good team.
Hey, they won
So-
without him this week.
I know. I'm just
They're
On
not a good
defense alone.
team.
I'm saying, but I'm saying the Panthers have been winning without on defense alone. But you guys just said that.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're not an elite team.
I know, but I'm saying you guys just said the
So
Chiefs
what
are a
you're
good
saying
team.
is the competition that the Bengals have played isn't better than the competition that.
No, I'm just listening to I just listed the
No,
Bengals.
but I'm saying
competition for
in
the
your
sake of-
personal opinion, because you're part of this too, is the competition that you just listed for the Bengals not tougher than the competition that the Panthers have played?
Well,
Because the Raiders are better than the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Saints by themselves.
the Raiders,
Yes, the Raiders are a surprisingly good team this year.
They-
Are they not?
they are. I don't know. I'll keep the Raiders on the same level as the Saints. I won't say they're better than
But
the Saints.
they are not. They're better
they
than the
can beat
Texans and the
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
They're better than the Texans and the
No.
Jaguars. But then, I mean, I go down to the Ravens. The Ravens are 1-6 on the season. So, I mean, I can't say the Ravens are better than the Jaguars or
I
the
can't say
Texans.
that either.
So that's a team that they beat.
So you're looking
the
at
Chiefs,
time out.
the
You're looking
Chiefs
at
have
That
only
was,
won,
that was a divisional game.
and the Bills just lost.
Oh wait, hold
to
on,
the
hold on.
Jaguars.
But you were gonna give the Panthers some slack because they played the Saints who are a divisional game, but the Bengals played the Ravens. That's a divisional game.
That
You
can
never
swing
know how
either
that's
way.
gonna go.
It is
can
a
swing
divisional
anyway.
game. It
So
is-
we're
but
gonna
I'm
give them
saying-
a pass.
but
We're
I'm
gonna give them
saying
a
the
pass.
Saints
So
also don't
so-
only have one win on
All
the
right,
season.
so the Chiefs they have 2. The Chiefs, come on, let's.
I'm
we're
just saying
splitting
one
hairs. Come on.
1 and 2 is a playoff
Come on.
spot.
Come on here.
1 and 2 is a
Time out,
playoff spot, bro.
time
I'm
out.
just saying.
Time out. Come on, we're splitting hairs here. The Saints are still the same team that lost to the Buccaneers. Let's
Mhm.
let's really take this and look in perspective. Who have the Saints really beat? They beat the
The
Colts, who are
Cowboys.
not a good team, and they beat the Cowboys without anyone on their team. So
Mhm.
we're giving them a little bit too much stock to begin with, anyways.
I think it's the
But-
Drew Brees respect factor.
But it is the Drew
Yeah,
Brees
it might
respect
be that.
factor.
Yeah.
But going back to it, the Chiefs are better than pretty much everyone on the Panthers schedule other than the Seahawks. The Chiefs could beat all those teams you listed, maybe other than the Seahawks.
Not right now. Nope.
I mean, yes, right now, because they just won without Jamal Charles.
I mean, you're an NFL team.
Against
you
the
should win some
Pittsburgh
games.
defense.
I mean, your NFL team
There's
should
no-
win some games.
there's no
That
over
goes
team
for
in the league.
that should go for everybody.
Well, y'all,
There's no over
hey,
team
that
in the
just
league.
should
we can talk about this.
anyone.
We can talk about this forever, but hey, our show's only so long. But going to the AFC. Funny enough, we're gonna talk about how the Patriots win over the Jets was a big statement win. You know, they won 30-23 in a game where that was the game that people were picking the Patriots to lose. Everybody was thinking, hey, maybe the Patriots might lose. Of all teams they could play that they might lose to, it was either going to be the Bills or the Jets. And maybe possibly if the Cowboys are healthy, a Cowboys team, which they weren't. But when they played the Jets, you know, the game was a really interesting game. The Patriots, first time they really faced adversity on the season. This is the first game where they found themselves down in the fourth quarter. But then, you know, Tom Brady did what he did. And it's one of those things that you kind of look at it and you're just like, man, like, how? He led the team in rushing. Tom Brady, he can't. Where does he go?
I think you mean Tom Vick.
It's just one game. One game.
Tom Vick,
He'll
aka
never do that again in his career.
aka
He also said that too. Tom Brady was like, oh, well, I got to savor it now because I don't know the next time this will ever happen. But I mean,
Tom Vick, aka Tom Austin.
You gotta relax.
they
Tom Gurley.
Come on, bruh. Come on. But they faced the Jets defense that's ranked in all the defensive categories. They're ranked top 8 in all defensive categories.
Tom Brady 2K.
So
Come on.
they you know, it shows just how great the Patriots are because nobody's been able to slow their offense down. They posted up at least 30 points and 5 of their 6 wins on the season. So you have to look at it and you're just like, man, like the Patriots, like who is going to beat them? Like how big was this win? Like Rashad, we'll start off with you. How big of a win do you think this was?
Game. The Jets blew it. That's all it is to it. It was a divisional game that they blew. Next time, you never know what's gonna happen. It could be a 30-0 blowout for the Patriots. It could be a 30-0 blowout for the Jets. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
You just never know what could happen. It's a divisional game that, of course, it's gonna be close. Of course, it's gonna be a lot of scraping and scrapping. It's just the Patriots more clutch than the Jets were that game. That's how I feel about it.
How do you feel about it, Rudy?
I mean, it's a huge win for the Patriots because that is the only team that I could see beating them in that division. Actually, the resurgent Miami Dolphins, if they keep looking the way they have looked, might be able to give them a little bit of bump. But like Rashad said, I think this is more on the Jets than it is on the Patriots. You played the Patriots not at their best. They were dropping balls all over the place. Brandon Marshall dropped a touchdown. Yeah, Brandon Marshall dropped a
Granted,
huge touchdown.
Julian Edelman also dropped a touchdown too.
That's very true. But what I'm saying is you have to seize these moments if you're the Jets. You've been the little brother in this division for so long, and you're playing a great brand of football with a great defense. You had a game where Ryan Fitzpatrick amazingly did not throw horrible interceptions or anything like that. I didn't know who I saw playing out there. So you have a game where you guys essentially play at your best and they play at their most mediocre, and you can't win. So this is a huge win for the Patriots because when they get the ball rolling, they can steamroll through this team if they don't get a grip on how they really need to perform against a team of that caliber.
All right, Kylo, what do you think about the win?
Huge win. I mean, like everybody's been saying, it's a divisional game. Patriots did that thing. They always do that thing. Just let it slip past them. You know, they definitely had the opportunity to take this win, but Patriots just triumphed. So it was definitely a huge win for the Patriots.
Yeah, and essentially, if the Patriots would have lost, they would have been tied in the division with the Jets. Yeah, so you know this was a game that the Jets really needed to win because
that's why they played twice though.
Yeah, that's why they played twice.
And the next one will be in New York.
It will be in New York. This is a game that you had Julian Edelman who couldn't catch balls. You had and Danny Amendola signed it. Like who would have guessed?
Oh, yeah, you gotta remember though, Chris Ivory didn't really go off either.
I think that was due to the focus.
Yeah, he got 17 carries and he wasn't doing anything.
They put everyone in the box for him.
Yeah.
They were ready for that.
They
wanted Ryan Fitzpatrick to beat them.
And Ryan
He
Fitzpatrick
did his best.
Yeah, for a stat for y'all, he went 22 of 39, and he threw for 295 passing yards and 2 touchdowns with no interceptions. He did have 1 fumble turnover, but it's neither here or there. And then Tom Brady went 34 of 54, 355 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Man's only thrown 1 interception on the season, and that 1 interception was on Julian Edelman because Julian Edelman couldn't catch the ball. So this man Tom Brady's is playing lights out, and it's like at this point, like, who is gonna beat them? Like,
it's gonna have to be the Jets. It's gonna have to be the Jets or the Dolphins or some random team. It's not gonna be the Broncos. I don't have any faith.
I still want to count the Bills out there second.
I'm not gonna count the Bills out. They can sneak up on them, but the Bills. Let's be fair. They have Khalid playing the quarterback back there. They don't have anyone.
When Tyrod Taylor comes back healthy, though,
I've seen Tyrod Taylor against teams that know what he's gonna do, and he doesn't look like a starting caliber quarterback. He looks like he
looks a lot better than EJ Manuel do.
I mean, he looks a lot. I mean, I look a lot better than EJ Manuel. Every time I see the Bills come out on offense, I see 10 players. I never see a quarterback. I just see a running back. I see a running back back there in the I formation like this, receiving the ball from the center directly, because there's no quarterback on that team.
Oh man,
they might need to think about going for my man Cook or Goff in the draft.
But I mean, think about it. When the Bills lost to the Patriots, not like they got.
Tyrod Taylor brought them back with his running back abilities, not his quarterback abilities. Tyrod Taylor is the best running back playing quarterback in the league.
It wasn't like the Bills got blown out. I mean, they showed the ability to be able to compete. I mean, Tom Brady carved them up something serious.
He did.
But, they showed the ability to at least be able to put points up on the Patriots.
A Rex Ryan team will always compete with the Patriots, but that doesn't mean they're always going to win.
They will win the second time they play.
I will give the Jets the edge to win the second time they play over the Bills, because we don't know what the hell the Tyrod Taylor will be like. Because if EJ Manuel's playing, that's going to be like a 45-6 game. EJ Manuel is the second coming of my man Jamarcus Russell. the great Jamarcus.
My man, the most frequent shopper at Dunkin' Donuts.
Jameis Winston is the last hope for Florida State quarterbacks to ever get drafted again. Because they literally had Christian Wonder, like, I wonder how you got drafted. Yeah. And now EJ, worst manual ever written, because he is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play in the NFL. And that's what the series face. That's not even a joke. He's horrible.
Like, he's bad. He made it to the NFL somehow.
Wait, time out. Do you want to know? Do you want to know what 3 possessions for him were against the Jaguars? Right. Fumble, pick 6.
Oh, come
on. Those are 3 consecutive possessions. You're talking about the first play of 3 drives, fumble, pick 6. That's impressive. That's impressively bad. Like, I've bagged on a lot of people before, but he's one of the few that really deserves it.
Oh my gosh, this man said it's impressive.
He deserves it.
He said that's impressive. I cannot.
And who feels like a fool for having a quarterback competition between Matt Castle, who effectively went out and threw 2 picks, and EJ Manuel, who plays horribly? That just speaks to how bad their quarterback competition was.
That is funny. So, I mean, who do y'all see possibly beating the Patriots?
Well, can someone bring up their schedule, please? Because I'm really interested to see who they have on the schedule before I can call it.
Like I said, I think the Bills will win, and I think the Jets will win.
The Patriots.
So you think they'll go 14-2?
No, I think they'll go more.
The next game the Patriots plays against the Dolphins.
Wait, is this?
No.
Then it's the Redskins. Then it's the Giants.
Redskins automatic win. Giants automatic win.
Then it's the Bills.
Tough game.
Then it's the Broncos.
That's a win.
It's the Eagles, the Texans, the Titans,
no win.
The Jets.
They might lose that one. See, I can see the Dolphins or the Jets sneaking a win if they start resting Tom Brady at the end there. I think the Bills game, like you said, the Bills could win that. That's possibly a trap game because they're feeling like we already beat the Bills. They're not that good. And then Mario Williams and all that defense gets on Tom Brady a little bit. But other than that, looking at that schedule, the toughest game they have is the Broncos. And Peyton Manning looks like he can barely throw 10 yards this season. I don't know what's going on over there with him. I mean, have you seen the Broncos play? They were in a gridlock game with the Browns. Yeah. And Peyton Manning was not the one getting it done.
He wasn't.
Stop faking on the Browns, though.
I mean, I'm not faking on the Browns. I'm just saying, to be an elite team, to be a Super Bowl contender like everyone thinks that they are, you can't struggle with teams like the Browns. You see what I'm saying? You're allowed to struggle with the Patriots. You're allowed to struggle with the Bengals, even the Panthers, in your opinion, but not the Browns. Not the Browns, not the Jaguars.
Not the Browns.
Not the Titans, not the Texans.
Browns got a solid defense, though.
They have a solid defense, but, Luke McCown is a starting
Josh.
My bad. I get them confused because they're both irrelevant.
I feel you.
Man,
Better
Travis
go
back
chill
there
today.
catching the ball for him.
Yeah, Travis,
Benjamin.
1 season Benjamin, yes.
What is this season?
Yeah, this is the
And
one
he did his
season.
thing last year.
This is the 1 season.
Okay, going on from to the New England Patriots, just taking shots at every team right now. We're going to talk about the Colts and what the cure for the Colts needs to be because
Get real luck.
yeah, man, this man Andrew Luck. Right now, the Colts are leading the division somehow.
Horrible division.
Somehow they're leading the division at 3-4.
You have a resident Jaguars fan and a resident Titans fan on this panel. This division's awful.
It's honestly hard to watch.
The
I don't
funny
know.
thing about the division is the Titans and Jaguars find ways to make entertaining games. They'll stay in games until about the fourth quarter, and then they turn into the Titans and the Jaguars. Although I do have to give Blake Bortles and Jacksonville their credit. I did say if I got proven wrong, I will admit it. And so far, Blake Bortles has proven that he could be a franchise quarterback.
Thank you.
So I will give him his credit, and I will give the Jacksonville Jaguars their credit for constantly improving week to week. But other than that, the division's horrible.
I was waiting for it.
You
I was
gonna
waiting
say-
for the butt. All right,
No,
I was
mean,
gonna
it's
say
true.
no matter-
all right, but
What you got to say, Brandon?
okay. So what is the cure for the Colts? Like, what does the Colts have to do to turn it around? I mean, Andrew Luck was the chosen child.
prodigal son.
Shut him down.
Yeah, he was a prodigal son, and now I mean he has them at a 3-4 record, where most of their wins came under a different quarterback.
Shut him down.
Yeah, so what is the cure? I mean, is it the coach?
I mean,
is it
where
the
it's coming
GM?
from.
Is it the quarterback? Like what do the Colts need to do to turn the season around? Kyler, let me start off with you since you were about to say something.
If the wins is coming from other quarterbacks, I think you know what the problem is.
But see, there's a problem if you do that though. See,
He was the number 1 draft pick.
I'm
I
thinking
understand-
exactly.
I
I'm
understand
thinking.
that.
I'm thinking the same
That man
exact
is not
thing.
being.
The backup's getting you the dubs.
Matt Hasselbeck at 40 years old.
But if you shut him down, if you shut Andrew Luck down, that whole
You just got yourself
executive
fired.
board is gone.
You just got yourself fired.
I understand that.
The owner of the team is firing himself.
Basically. And the
if-
coach
if
is
he's
firing
gonna-
himself for that horrible punt play they did.
So that's what happens if you shut him
That
down.
Pop
play.
Warner play.
But shutting
The
them down
fake
is what's
field
going
goal,
to get you the win.
Mishap.
Like this,
all that.
these were Andrew
Those
Luck's
interceptions.
stats from this past Sunday against the Saints in a loss.
Horrid defense, Saints.
23 of 44 passes,
How many?
333 passing yards.
Yeah,
He threw for
something.
3 touchdowns but 2 interceptions.
Against the Saints.
So
Does anyone know who their DBs are?
Hey, if you,
If someone can tell me 2 Saints DBs, I might buy them Chick-fil-A.
I gotta tell you two though.
You gotta tell me 2.
That's the problem.
Oh
Oh,
I know Kenny
can't-
Vaccaro because he came from Texas, but
uh,
who are their cornerbacks? Do they have them?
they got
No.
career, don't they?
Don't they just have wide
Is it-
receivers
is it-
play
isn't
defense?
Is it one of their corners' career?
Isn't one of their cornerbacks Drew Brees? I thought he played everything on that team.
His career.
He might as well.
And then Jabari Greer.
I think he retired.
No, he's
That
still
was
there.
in the Super Bowl. That was a minute ago.
I think he's still there. I think he's.
I can't.
But
Come on. I can't.
but
You please
Oh.
you address it because I got to take my hater glasses off of this because I
Hey,
detest the call.
Oh my god.
come on.
Come
the
on, guys,
Colts-
gotta keep it rolling.
Nobody.
what you gotta do for the Colts-
Rudy.
Well, the, see, and what I'm about to say earlier though, if you need a FanDuel defense, you always pick the defense against the Colts because he's always bound to throw you interceptions.
Two.
That
Two
at
games.
least 2 a game. See, that's
At
the
least.
problem with Andrew Luck. He needs to go. He needs to do. He's having what Tony Romo had earlier in his career. You know, constant interception. He needs to change his game plan now.
Interception syndrome.
Yeah. He needs to change his game and start throwing shorter pads. You can't always try to go deep to Dante Metcalf or T.Y. Hilton.
You can't
Especially
catch.
That's what gets you
precise.
interceptions.
Yeah,
Especially
you're
when they
right.
can't catch.
You're right,
Mhm.
but how much of that goes on play calling too? I mean, obviously the play calling was different with Matt Hasselbeck in the game.
Because they know they don't have faith in Matt Hasselbeck for throwing the ball deep, but they think Andrew Luck can, even though Andrew Luck is like pick city.
So how much of it is on Andrew Luck and
A lot of-
coaching staff?
80% of it's on Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 80.
He's the one making the
I
decisions
would
at
say
the end of the day.
60-40 because when obviously you know he has a tendency to throw interceptions.
Mhm.
So why are you gonna keep trying to make him throw deep?
True.
But it's also on Andrew Luck to be like, hey, I need to stop throwing these interceptions. Stop trying to throw it deep. Like
Yeah,
you have
I'm gonna
every
go on monologue.
every play has a check down route.
This is about to be a monologue.
Every play has a check down.
I hate the Colts. I've hated the Colts since I was born. I was born hating the Colts, resident Titans fan. But I will take my hater glasses off for this show.
Okay.
So,
So objective.
Okay.
taking the hater glasses off.
Taking them off,
Okay.
unleashing the
Ownership.
The unbiased.
I'm gonna start from top down.
Oh man.
Ownership and GM. Andrew Luck has not been protected in the pocket since he's gotten drafted, and none of you have found it necessary to draft or sign offensive linemen. That's on you. Andrew Luck has not had a successful running game since he's been in Indianapolis, and then you sign Frank Gore, but then don't fix the run or pass blocking. That's on you. The coach, Pagano, you ran a Pop Warner trick play in an NFL game. That by itself means that you should get fired. There's no other way to say it. Not only did you run a Pop Warner trick play, but you did it wrong. The punter is supposed to be in shotgun.
Why was your punter
under center?
Like, I don't understand it.
Why was your punter under center?
That wasn't even
with
a
three?
punter. It was a safety.
Why was your safety under center with 3 defensive players in front of 1 offensive lineman? How did you think that was going to end?
Did you read Bill Belichick's lips when he saw
yes,
it? He was like,
yes.
"What the hell was that?"
One of my favorite quotes from that day, and it was actually a tweet from Skip Bayless, was, "What was that?" Because no one knows what that was. But then we get to the main problem here, and that's Andrew Luck. And I do think he deserves most of the blame because, as Pagano has said, you've been here for 3 years and you haven't had protection. You can't blame that because you've had good seasons. We've been here for 3 years with those same wide receivers, and they added Andre Johnson. So you can't really blame that because you've been dealing with that. My problem with Andrew Luck is no matter what he does, they seem to find some sort of an excuse for it. He's gotten progressively worse every single season that he's been in the NFL. You can check the stats. He's gotten worse every single year.
He's got worse, but his team's got better.
Exactly. His team has gotten better, but he's gotten worse. He's thrown more interceptions than any other player that I can see and gotten more passes than any other player I've ever seen. He throws at least 2 interceptions a game. That's Jay Cutler range. And we put Jay Cutler, we put that man out to dry.
Yeah.
And Jay Cutler has actually had a good season this year. Led his team back twice and won 2 late games. Andrew Luck is in the business of throwing 2 picks early in the game, getting his team behind by a huge margin, then padding his stats by throwing 300 yards against prevent defense, and then people saying that he's the greatest thing to ever happen in the NFL. That's what happens. I'm sorry, but that's what happens. Both the number 1 and number 2 picks from that year were not who we thought they were. Point blank.
Well, I mean, he's had 1 bad season though.
No.
He had 2 good seasons.
There's a difference between having 1 bad season and progressively getting worse. See, he's done the exact opposite of what RG3 did. RG3 came in, lit the world on fire, and then just went straight from that to crap. Andrew Luck came in the league, lit the world on fire, and went from lit the world on fire to he's cooling down to is this the same Andrew Luck to this year?
But you also got to look at his weapons that he had, because T.Y. Hilton was getting hurt at that time. And some of those time periods of when his production was going down.
Look, like I said, here's the thing. When Peyton Manning was on the Colts, he had Jacob Tamme.
Here's the difference.
Time out. You want to compare him to Peyton Manning. You want to put him in Hall of Fame categories. He has to do the same thing.
I personally didn't do that.
You didn't do that. What I'm saying is the general consensus is that he's the Hall of Famer. He's the best quarterback to come out since Peyton Manning and them. You got to do the same thing that they did. Peyton Manning took scrubs and made them into players that were getting $1 million contracts.
I don't know if Reggie Wayne's a scrub.
No. Okay, I'm talking about Brandon Stokely, Jacob Tamme, and those players. You didn't hear about any of those guys till Peyton Manning got his hands on them and then sent them off to have careers other places where they did absolutely nothing. So now you're telling me no, Pierre Garçon was all right, but Peyton Manning was the one who turned him into that. He was a nobody, was on a team with Peyton Manning, and then he went to the Redskins, and he has a good game every now and again.
But I mean, he also has Kirk Cousins. I mean, let's give the receiver some credit. I mean, the receiver. I mean, you still need somebody to throw you the ball. Larry Fitzgerald was a great quarterback. Great wide receiver with Kurt Warner.
Well, he played quarterback too.
He was a great. He had his best receiving years with Kurt Warner. You take Kurt Warner out the mix, Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals went under the radar. You add Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald's revitalized.
That's very true.
Some of it you gotta give some credit to the receivers. In some cases, I mean, Peyton Manning's a great quarterback.
But is Jacob Tamme a great receiver?
I mean,
no. Say it. Go ahead and say it.
I mean,
that's a no.
Yeah.
That's a flat out no.
Great.
What I'm saying is, T.Y. Hilton is one of the fastest people in the league. Constantly gets himself open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, regardless of how good you want to call him, he is a weapon.
He is a weapon. I'm not saying he's not a weapon.
Andre Johnson had great seasons with wait.
Andre Johnson's falling off though.
Andre Johnson has had great seasons with Matt Schaub and had a pretty decent season last year. What I'm saying is, even if he's falling off, Marvin Harrison got to play in the old age because he had a great quarterback.
No. because he had a great quarterback. I get it, but I'm saying Andre Johnson. Let's not forget Andre Johnson. His best years, that was with the Matt Schaub that was balling. That was Matt Schaub when he was balling. That was the
That's very true.
that
But
makes
there
it-
was a point in time where when you looked at best receivers around the league, he was in the top 5. Point blank,
Yeah.
period. You can't take a top 5 talent that's coming towards the end of his career with a great quarterback and he just turns into nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they don't just turn into nothing. You have to throw him the ball. Andrew Luck has not been doing that. Nor if he did, it's been inaccurate.
Yeah.
Point blank, period, he's gotten worse. I don't know if they need to get him with a quarterback coach. I don't know if they just need to improve the line. I don't know if they need to give him a running game. I think to answer the initial question, how to fix this, give him a running game and an offensive line. Same way they fixed Tony Romo. They gave him an offensive line. They gave him a running game. Now look at Tony Romo. Confident, making the right decisions. He doesn't even really need the running game anymore because he knows where the ball is supposed to go.
All right. See your last point.
All right, I want to tell you what happened to Andrew Luck. I remember in Space Jams when the talent was taking to put on the ball.
The Monstars took his talent.
Blake Bortles has the ball
The
and took the talent.
Oh.
Blake
And now
Bortles took the.
he took
I think
Blake Bortles
think
is
what
going
happened.
off,
I think
and Andrew Luck is going down.
See, I think what happened was Mariota took his talent week 1, and then Blake Bortles has borrowed it, so now he doesn't have too much left. They didn't leave any left for the Texans quarterbacks to be sorry about that, because Ryan Mallett and Brian Hoyer.
Ryan Mallett gets stuck in traffic.
Y'all listen. Yeah, come on.
Ryan Mallett.
on, like,
Ryan Mallett.
hey,
Ryan Mallett
Charles
only throws
Barkley.
Ryan Mallett only throws the ball commercial. So
Come on. Okay, so quick NBA predictions
for tonight or tomorrow.
for tonight and tomorrow. Tonight, the Pistons and Hawks play. Who do y'all have winning that game?
Pistons. Stanley Johnson is going to be an emerging star, rookie from Arizona.
All right, Cavaliers and Bulls. Kyrie Irving isn't playing.
Bulls.
Cavs still.
All right, Pelicans and Warriors.
Round 1
I
rematch.
gotta go with the brow. The
Brow,
brow of
brow.
justice. Fear the brow.
I was thinking the same. I want to go Brow because that series was actually
It was a good
that was a
series.
great
Anthony
series.
Davis gave him everything he had.
But you just can't stop. You just can't stop those two dudes. Those
Here's
two
the thing,
shots.
though. They have a healthy Drew Holiday now. They have a complete team
Drew
now.
Holiday over Steph Curry. Klay
I'm not
Thompson.
saying he's over Steph Curry, but you got to remember they were losing these games by 4 and 5 points. Drew Holiday makes a difference.
Okay.
Drew Holiday has way better vision than Tyreek Evans.
All right. For predictions tomorrow, who do y'all have winning Cavaliers and Grizzlies? Since Cavaliers will be in the back-to-back.
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies just Western team.
All right.
Strong Western team.
Spurs and Thunder.
Thunder.
Spurs.
I'm taking Thunder simply because Kevin Durant needs to prove that he's still Kevin
I
Durant.
don't think Kevin Durant. I don't think Westbrook's gonna be as like he was now since Kevin Durant's back.
He won't, but Kevin Durant has to prove that he's still Kevin Durant.
Okay,
That's
now-
the big thing here.
Lakers and Timberwolves.
I got the Lakers. I think Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, and Kobe will all have pretty good showings. And I think the Timberwolves they're a really, really young team. They're ridiculously young. When you look at their starting lineup, you got Rubio who can't shoot, can't play a lick of offense.
Like 25.
Zach LaVine is his second year.
19.
Andrew Wiggins is his second year.
12.
Karl Anthony Towns is a rookie who's played basketball for like 3 years total. And then old Kevin Garnett. But coming off the bench, you got Shabazz Muhammad. Who else is it? Robbie Hummel, Adrian Payne, Gorgie Jang. I literally listed like the NCAA All-Star team there. So I think it'll be an entertaining game at the end of the day. That other team does have Kobe.
With Kobe having 20 plus.
All right, so who are y'all picks? Who y'all picks?
Lakers.
Okay, so we're gonna take a moment to remember Flip Saunders. Sorry, the who was the former Timberwolves coach who unfortunately over this weekend passed from cancer.
At 60 years old.
Yeah, at the age of 60 years old, he tallied more than 1,000 victories over his career, and he had good. He was the initial coach that initially coached Kevin Garnett when he came into the
He
league.
made Kevin Garnett who he is.
Yeah, and he helped Kevin Garnett win that MVP, and he went to the playoffs multiple times straight years with the Timberwolves. Then went on to coach the Pistons right after the Pistons had beat the Lakers and led them to conference finals also. And so he unfortunately had Hodgkin lymphoma, which they said was treatable and curable, but then he had complications with it in his treatment in September. And then this recent past Friday, that's when the team was notified that he was going to take a leave of absence because of the complications due to his cancer. And so then, recently the news came down on Sunday, I believe, that he had passed away in the hospital. So how will you guys remember Flip Saunders over his career? Because so many players he touched so many players that apparently, he was a coach for the Wizards. And
John Wall.
Yeah, he coached John Wall. He's coached a lot of players, and he's had a run-ins with a lot of players. Players like LeBron James, Kevin Love, Andrew Wiggins.
Charles Springwell.
Yeah, a lot of guys are, expressing their sadness and remorse to his family, where he's survived by four kids and a wife. So how do y'all remember Flip Saunders? I'll start with you, Rudy.
I'm always gonna remember Flip Saunders for what he did with that Timberwolves team and Kevin Garnett. That Timberwolves team was responsible for one of the biggest upsets that I had ever seen in the playoffs back then. And that was when they played the Lakers and Kevin Garnett just went bonkers. I didn't even know who Kevin Garnett was, or Latrell Sprewell, or Sam Cassell for that matter, until I saw that playoff series, and he was wholeheartedly responsible for that. So I always remember that because that's when I first started getting into basketball.
All right, Rashad, what about you?
You gotta remember him for like his development of players, his mentoring for these players that you see, because you see what happened with like a Kevin Garnett when he first came into the league, how he made him grow, mature quick enough in the league to be able to carry a team, be responsible for helping the team win. Him always having these winning seasons. It's just something great, to always hanging your Raptors as he was there for you. He's always watching over you guys for what y'all did.
Yeah. All right. Khaled, how will you remember Flip Saunders?
Of course, definitely for developing Kevin Garnett and making him the man he is today. Definitely for leading Timberwolves teams to constant playoffs appearances and Pistons to conference finals. And he was just a winning coach, and he was a great man, a great leader, a great teacher to most of these players.
Yeah. The way I remember Flip Saunders, because I always remember, especially when he was coaching the Timberwolves, because, Timberwolves are in the Lakers, the division and everything. So especially remembering him, I always remembered him that, he was always fiery on the bench. And, you felt his aura, like he extended onto Kevin Garnett and Kevin Garnett's initial years. Like those Timberwolves teams were always scrappy. And that was always, and they were one of those teams that, how when people always say, man, I wish the good teams were like scrappy. That Timberwolves team was like one of those teams that he centered around Kevin Garnett and made them a good team, but then also made them have that scrappy mentality. So they went to 8 straight playoff appearances when many people didn't think they should have. And that was just because of the mentality of Flip Saunders extended onto them. And then, he also, when he would go on, he went on to coach on the Pistons, they would go on, and then it took Herculean efforts from people like LeBron James and Dwight Howard and stuff to knock out the Pistons in the playoffs whenever they played them under Flip Saunders, tutelage. So then when he went to the Wizards, John Wall would even say that a lot of how John Wall learned how to slow down his game and, be able to let the game come to him at a slower pace was because of Flip Saunders. So you have to kind of give respect to that. And, it's sad because so many like guys like him and Stuart Scott have been lost this year to cancer. But, you can only say RIP and wish the condolences to their families. But that's going to do it for today's show, y'all. This WODU Studios, the best in college radio. We thank y'all for tuning in. It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. Follow us on Twitter at KBR_sports. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel at KBR Sports and WODU Live, where you'll see past shows and
tell your friends.
And you'll see past shows and past segments on there. All right, y'all have a great day.